Well, for anyone who's watched our show over the past year, you know that one of our terrific sponsors is Cavs Philly Tailgates, or Cavs Catering. And the Cav in question is this guy, Bob Cavanaugh. Hey, about time we're finally getting around to doing this, Cav.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I've been a little busy, but looking forward to this.
Yeah, you are a busy guy. And before we talk about your catering business, let's talk a little bit about you and the Philly sports scene. Where did you grow up, and how long have you been a 4-for-4 Philly sports guy, assuming that you are?
I absolutely am. I grew up in Northeast Philadelphia, went to Northeast High School, played baseball, basketball in high school. Always loved all my teams. Fortunate enough to have season tickets to all four at this age, and I get to a lot of games.
Nice. Taking me back to the early 1970s or whatever, I guess, when you were growing up, what are your earliest memories of those Philadelphia sports days?
Well, I guess when 10, 12 years old, Phillies 76 to the 80 run.
Yeah.
That was my greatest memories as a child. I was fortunate enough to meet Pete Rose in the dugout at a Phillies game in 1979. Was actually his second home game, so that was kind of cool. He asked me to come and sit down, and he talked to me. So at that time, Pete Rose was one of my favorite players. Mike Schmidt being my favorite, but just seeing those games, those teams, it was exciting. As a child, it's not like now where you can see all these games on ESPN and everything. Growing up, right. I read the newspaper every day. I followed the stats, the box scores, and it was just fun being a sports fan at those times, and still is today.
Yeah, and now the Phillies are the best team in Major League Baseball, at least at this point of the season. How are you feeling about our 2024 Phillies?
Great. It's a must-watch TV. Exciting every game. Great pitching staff. Back when the Phillies aren't playing that well, you watch them hit, and then you come back a couple innings later and see who's up. But hey, you watch the whole game now. It's a lot of fun. Ballpark's electric like it was back in 2009, 10, and 11. It's a carnival atmosphere down there. It's a lot of fun.
And I know what a diehard Eagles fan you are, of course. The Eagles had a rough end to the 2023 season, but I think brighter days are ahead. They got some great draft picks. Saquon Barkley. What's your outlook for the 24 Eagles?
What else can you say? I mean, they had a great draft, picked up Barkley, like you said, signed the receivers. Everybody should be happy. Yep. The schedule's a little lighter this year. I expect them to do well. It's all on Jalen. If Jalen plays well, I think they'll be okay. I hope the defense shores itself up. But 40th year as a season ticket holder since I was 18. So wow. Looking forward to the season as usual.
Well, as I mentioned every week doing your spot, you've won the Philly Tailgates Jack Daniels Great American Tailgate Party Contest 3 times. You won a Philly Daily News Tailgate Award. You must be doing something right with the business, Bob.
Yeah, we take pride in what we do. I mean, a lot of people in the area have been to our events over the years. We've been doing it for a long time. I always enjoyed sports, food. So I just, when I was 18, started cooking for a few guys, and it turned into a business over the years. We cater every Eagles game. We do a lot of corporate events. We do private parties for tailgate parties. Had parties at people's homes, graduations, business luncheons. We pretty much do it all, and we bring a tailgate atmosphere to your home or place of business.
Yeah, when we talked a few weeks ago, you said that this month and next are extremely busy. In fact, we had to do this interview at 7 a.m. because you got so much going on. I understand. Lots of graduation parties, I guess, among other things.
Yeah, some we're actually doing a party for a company for the Phillies game tonight. So that's why we're doing this morning.
Awesome. Now, of course, pre-game tailgates are probably what you're best known for. You've partnered with our pal Vince at Philly Sports Trips. How did that relationship come about? How long have you been doing that?
So Vince and I, we had a mutual friend, and we met at one of my events. We were tailgating. I believe it was a game in Washington for the Eagles and Redskins at that moment back then. Yeah. But we just became friends, and Vince showed an interest in sports travel, and I actually dabbled in that back in 2008-9 when the Phillies were making their little run. So I kind of guided him through a little bit, helped him get the business started, and eventually became his partner.
So I saw this menu on your website. Is that a typical menu for a tailgate?
Yeah, that's what we start with. Sometimes we scale it down a little bit, but that's what we serve typically every home game. We do that. Sometimes we have actually add some things to it. We do a breakfast menu for Eagle games at 1 o'clock. It's a little bit of something for everybody. There's a lot of choices there.
So let me ask, when the Eagles schedule came out last week, did you and Vince immediately get to work on, firming up all the trips, booking hotels and all that stuff?
Yeah. Schedule release day is a big day. Looking forward to the season. We have some good cities there. Tampa, we've been there the last couple of years. New Orleans, everybody's looking forward to. Brazil, a little different. And we have a couple bus trips there, which we will be catering ourselves there in Baltimore, New York, and Washington. So, it's a nice day. You can get to an Eagles game. Honestly, what we charge for our bus trip with the ticket, tailgate, and bus trip to the game is probably cheaper than what you can buy a ticket for here in Philadelphia. So that's it.
Yeah.
They're good trips, and it's only a day. You don't have to take any time off from work.
And in addition to all the Eagles trips and home tailgates, you and Vince have a bunch of Phillies trips this summer, including, I guess, a trip to London in early June, which should be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, we're going to London here in a couple of weeks. It's going to be great. Everybody's looking forward to it. We actually sold that trip out within a month, a long time ago when it was announced, back in the fall. Get to mix in a little sightseeing with some Phillies. We're doing a nice tailgate over there. We are not catering ourselves, but we're doing it on 4 different boats right outside the stadium. We're having
wow.
So that'll be a pretty cool atmosphere. And then we're doing our trip to Baltimore, which we still have some availability. Bus trip from South Philly down to Baltimore for the Phillies on June 15th, and we'll be catering that there.
And getting back to the Eagles, something a little different this year, a game 1 trip to Brazil. And you got to make that a whole week-long event, right?
Yeah, it's a vacation. It's with a football game mixed in pretty much. I personally will not be going on that one. Vince will be there with some other members of our team. Looking forward to it. We'll have a couple of Eagles alumni on that trip, as well as every trip. We're just still confirming up who's going to be where. So keep an eye on the website, phillysportstrips.com, for that information.
And what's your website again, Bob?
So Philly Tailgates is our website, and you see all our home games. We also have ticket and tailgate packages available for games in June, July, and August. Check the website out for that. Come down. We have a game ticket for you. We give you the tailgate party prior to the game. Fun carnival atmosphere, little live music at some of our events, and it's always a fun time before we go into the game.
Absolutely. All right, Cav, let's finish up with a little game of Fast Five. 5 easy questions, 5 brief answers. And by the way, folks, this is for entertainment purposes only, so no wagering. All right. As we said, you were a child of the 70s primarily. Who were a few of your favorite Philly athletes back in the day?
Now, the stock answers, Mike Schmidt with the Phillies. I actually have some other guys that you would think. Dave Cash. I love Dave Cash.
Oh, yeah.
Second baseman with the Phillies. But, Carlton, Schmidt, Lazinski, all the regulars. Again, Pete Rose came to the Phillies in 79, 80, help him get over the hurdle there. So he was a favorite back then. Maybe not as much today. But Sixers, Dr. J, of course. I was a big Mo Cheeks fan. I always liked Mo Cheeks. Doug Collins when I was a little younger. As far as the Flyers, the 74, 75 team, Rick McLeish, Barbara Clark, Reggie Leach, Bernie Prine, of course. Eagles, I like the Buddy Ryan days when I was just because I think I was a little younger. So Reggie White, Jerome Brown, that whole defense, Clyde Simmons, Mike Golick, all the linebackers and defensive backs. They were a defensive team. They were fun to watch. And you were never out of the game with Randall at quarterback. So they were fun times.
Number 2, you and I talk music a lot when we're together. I told you my first concert was Kiss in 1976. Do you remember your first concert? And if so, who was it?
Foreigner. I guess I was about 14. I saw Foreigner. Billy Squier opened up for them. Jukebox Hero Tour.
Oh, yeah. Number 3, you cook, you cater. Do you have a personal favorite food?
I love pasta. Italian food, veal chops. I'm a big veal chop person. Steaks. There's not much I dislike. We'll put it that way.
Getting back to music, we got a Stones concert coming up on June 11th. I'm going to be there. What's your favorite Stones song?
I'm actually a big Who fan. That's my band.
Oh.
I thought you were going to ask me that question. Who's my favorite?
Well, how about the Who? How many times have you seen the Who?
I've seen the Who. Any piece of the Who is around. Yeah. Be it just Daltrey and Townsend or Roger Daltrey's coming. Unfortunately, I'll be in London when he's here. I'm going to try to go see him somewhere else. But I've seen the Who many times. I've seen them at Radio City Music Hall, stadiums. I've seen them in multiple cities. But I love the Who. They were my band as a kid.
Absolutely. And finally, you've been to a lot of visiting baseball and football stadiums. Do you have a favorite stadium to visit?
I've been to every baseball stadium. Everybody says the Giants Stadium, which is really nice. I guess the best are the older stadiums, Wrigley and Fenway, and Dodger Stadium's nice also. But as far as the newer stadiums, Camden Yards, PNC Park, our ballpark, Texas is nice. Not the new one. The new one's nice, but I've been to the one before that in Arlington. Ballpark at Arlington, and San Diego is a really nice stadium.
Cavs Philly tailgates. Wow, great business you got going, Bob. And this has been fun, as I knew it would be. Bob Cavanaugh, you're the best.
Thanks, Chet. It's been a pleasure.